Hello there, and welcome to my tutorial on doing 3D sound in VR. Today I'm going to be talking about doing water and waves. I've got a video here we shot in Hawaii, and there are a number of challenges in trying to sonify this. The first being that water is very complex, and it is everywhere. You'd want to sonify this entire space if you really wanted to get be realistic. The best method that I've found so far is to pick a few key locations, probably along this ridge over here and this far ridge over there and this close ridge right here, and sonify those locations where water is going to be making the most sound, and just make sure that the sounds that come from those locations track very closely with the timing of the waves. And I'll show you how to do that in a bit. First, you need to actually find your sounds, and it turns out that's not too easy. It took me a few hours on YouTube to find sound sources that I thought fit. One piece of advice I can give is that most people who make recordings, who actually care about the sounds that they're recording, will include the locations that the recordings were made at. So if you find videos that are named calm, relaxing, beach sounds, 10 hours, then odds are you're going to be finding a lot of recordings that are very similar. They may even be stealing each other's sounds. You'd be better off picking a few well-known beaches and searching for their names, and you would come up with likely recordings of higher quality sound. So, with that out of the way, I can show you some of the recordings I came up with. The quality doesn't have to be too high, as you'll see soon. Once you put them all together, individual flaws become much less noticeable. These are what I'm going to use for the up-close waves, the churning of the water and such, and the water that's hitting up here. The sound is bright, so it's also good. And it's active, which lets it simulate water churning into itself. These sounds that I'm going to be using for... Here we are. For the crashing of waves will be this one. You can hear this is deeper. Recording was taken from further away. And it's more resonant. It already has some reverb in it as part of the distance it was taken at. But the reverb in it is something that is fairly well suited to the scene that we want to sonify. So it's not really at all. In fact, so we're going to be using that over here. So now let's take a look at the project itself. Don't be taken aback by the number of tracks I have here. This is reasonably ambitious. The first set here is one scene that is sonified, and then the orange is the second scene, and the salmon or red is the third scene, the one that we'll be looking at today, Cove. I simply took each of those and cut bits and pieces of them, and then put them together into the tracks that you see below that aren't muted out, and then did that following the structure of the video we made, and voila, you have a soundtrack. For now, I've disabled the background music that I wrote to accompany it. It's not relevant to what we're doing, and I can play you now the sound that I actually have going for this. You'll notice here with the front waves and now with the back waves that the sound is reasonably well synced with the video. And I'll show you how I accomplish that in a moment. First, before I do, notice how empty this starts to sound when I take out the wind noise. Now, for the record, this wind noise is completely unspatialized. It is a stereo sound file that does not change as you turn your head, but it's key to creating a sense of space here. Notice how empty the scene sounds now. This is because stereo files are often very good at capturing the sense of a space. Not much else, but they can certainly do that. And for that, they're useful in recreating the sense of space for your user. Watch how much richer this sounds when I place it back in. With that out of the way, let's talk about some of the synchronization of the waves. So we'll take a look. Some deep waves placed over here. And I have some shallow churning waves placed here, and another over here. If I were to open up the volume track for each, you'll notice that I used an automation technique here to record my desired volume for this track as I was watching the video. So let's place this side by side with these. So you'll notice that the bottom track hits a peak, and then sometime thereafter the top track hits a peak. And that's as the water flows from that top rocky ridge inward to hit the bottom rocky ridge that's near us. It does so following a time delay. And I achieved that just by watching one location steadfastly and just dragging up the volume when the waves would hit. And that simple technique is remarkably effective at creating a sense of life in the sound as it's synced with the video. Finding the right sounds, making sure that it sounds as though it's the right distance away with EQ effects, and making sure that the dynamics are right when the waves hit. The large secret to getting waves and water to work. Now, one last thing to note is that I tried to make sure that when a wave did hit, it lined up with a peak in the audio file. If we look at, Cove Deep Waves 2 here, notice that we'll bring the video back up so you can see side by side. Oh, the video we're playing doesn't have to be. There we go. That I align peak in the audio with the desired peak in the volume, and more apparently here at this next wave. This will give you the most convincing effect. But it's not necessary if you don't have the time to devote to the minute mixing. And that's just about all that I have on water. Thank you for watching. I hope it's been informative. And next time I'll talk a little bit more about wind and creating loops. Alright, have a nice day.